So... Tides of Annihilation, just like Stellar Blade, both are on Steam. But yeah, I did not know that Tides of Annihilation was actually coming on PC. Because at the end of this trailer right here, and both at the end of this trailer, and at the end of the... Actually, wait, this trailer has a different ending. Wait, this trailer on Steam has a different ending on it than the one that PlayStation showed. I wonder why that is. Fuck's sake. Right, so. Actually, should I be on the right or the left? I should be on the right again. You know what? I don't know why I thought this way, but when I started using the webcam on these games, I thought most of the time I would be able to put the webcam on them on the left side there, on the left side of the screen. But the more I have actually tested all of these different games, I feel like the webcam is usually always better on the right side. Because so many of these games put more of the important HUD elements on the left top side. So like, you know, I kind of don't like that, that it is like that. But, I mean, at the same time, like, who cares? You know, it's not a big deal. But, you know, most people read from left to right. So, like, instinctively, me, for example, when I look at any visual content, I usually look always at the left side of the screen first and then the right side. You know, if there's nothing particularly too interesting. You know, because you're used to, like, reading left to right, you know? It's a very Western thing. So, like, having the webcam on the left, like this, would be something that I would prefer instead. So you focus more so on the webcam, just innately, without thinking about it. But, you know, if we're gonna have to do it like this, I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but it's something, you know? Okay, let's make sure everything is correct. How's the audio on this? How loud is this? Is this too quiet? Actually, they talk here at the start.
A baby carriage. Ah.
Quite quiet, actually, these two. Let's make this louder. Let's say... Let's put that one on. Let's see how that is.
A baby. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened to you.
Like that. Let's say like that. Okay. So. Before seeing this gameplay trailer for this game, I was thinking to myself how, you know, this game reminded me most of maybe... Actually, what did I say the very first thing in what it reminded me of? It had like a little bit of flashing with like games like, you know, Devil May Cry, which I have never played. Games like, you know, Souls, this with the combat, I suppose, for a small amount of time because of the night and the phantom aspect that we saw, like the spirits that she was summoning sometimes with her attacks in the announcement trailer, you know, where there was not much gameplay shown. And then maybe a little bit of, you know, games like Stellar Blade, because she also has some guard or parry counters as well that she does here. But after watching this trailer here, I would definitely have to say that this game, the absolute most, without a single doubt, reminds me of Solstice. Like, there is many things here that remind me of Solstice, which I'm gonna go over. First of all, look at the UI. Just go back. You look at the UI choice here. Solstice also has this like cursive UI choices where there's a lot of these like 45-degree angles and these very like vibrant like colors, you know? So that's an immediate like visual thing on the HUD that reminded me of Solstice on this game. Like very similar on that sense. Then we have this we have this sisterly like combination here with the two characters. What's the other character's name? Gwendolyn is the main character. So not Gwendolyn from like, you know, Dark Souls obviously. Gwendolyn, you know. Gwendolyn. Almost the same. What's the other person's name again? It was Ninaina something or some... Yeah. Like she's both this flying hawk of some kind. And then she also becomes Gwendolyn's sword. That's also something that they show later in this trailer. So there is some kind of... Like, I'm kind of hypothesizing that this partner that Gwendolyn has, either she's somehow... I mean, obviously she's supernatural as fuck. Maybe she's some kind of like Pandora, maybe, from like God of War, where she's both like a crafted weapon for somebody's use, but, you know, also literally speaking used as a weapon. Or maybe she's able to just morph into different beings or creatures. Maybe that's what it's about.
This place was fine before.
And also, she has this aspect of using fire and ice as her damaging elemental types. Which is also very much like the red and blue mechanic from Solstice as well, you know? But instead of the enemies being necessarily like forcing you to use one of the types, it's more so you use it to, you know, I don't know, proc different elemental effects and combinations of your own attacks and just mix and match. We'll see just how it is when the game releases, of course.
But then a car? It's too small. It's
something very interesting.
Carriage. Ah, a baby. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened to you.
Like these two have insanely, especially what's her name again? Niniane. This Niniane person has incredibly gullible personality. Like she seems, with her short amount of dialogue that we see in this trailer from her, she seems like she's not of this world in some way. Or she's just maybe very young and just knows not much of anything exactly.
Sorry for everything that's happened to you.
Or maybe she's just incredibly naive. Like Gwendolyn is also quite naive as well, which is what we also see in this trailer. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they could interact here, which is important because this kind of like context right here that they are showing, it reminds me a lot of how Stellar Blade shows its substance as well. Like Stellar Blade does not have like an, you know, ridiculous amount of like substance that you can find in the overworld, but whenever there is some substance, it's quite saturated. You know, it's not like we find a lot of this stuff, you know, like littered here and there. It's more so, you know, whenever there are these moments, they are more saturated, like moments where the game wants you to take a bit more time in a certain location before you move, you know? It's like the sewer area in Stellar Blade is a good example of that, where you find the, like in Matrix 11, where you find that shelter area, and there's a lot of the things to interact with that you can before you move on to the next area. Like, that's kind of what I mean, you know? Areas like that. Like, that is where there's a lot of substance that you can, like, whiff from the overworld, and then you just go back to fighting normally. But yeah, one thing that struck me very distinctive on this trailer, look at the camera angle choices. Like, obviously, she's summoning... These are either different powers that she's using, or her attacks are gaining different buffs depending what attack she's doing. Because it doesn't seem like she's summoning necessarily these. But she definitely has a magical aspect onto her, obviously. I mean, why else would she be summoning these otherwise? And also, they are very heavily emphasizing this, you know, take the enemies in the skies and just combo them to death kind of mechanic. Very Solstice-like. Very. Dude, Look at the camera angle choices. It's like the camera angle is not exactly a fixed camera necessarily. The player is able to turn it also, but so it was in Solstice, but to a very restricted degree. But it changes between this third-person action camera almost that follows the character from straight behind, like you would normally classically have on a third-person game, like kind of like what we have now after the fight is over, and then the camera angle kind of like changes, you know? Like this kind of like camera angle use is something that I don't see in any of these like normally like third-person action games. Like this goes between like some scrolling camera, some fixed camera. It goes with the like now we have like a more traditional third-person action camera, you know? And why is this so interesting to me? Well, because it dictates, like, it's an indicative of, like, you know, what the game wants to show the player, you know? It's kind of like, how do I explain this? Okay, I'm gonna take Nier Automata as one example. So, let's take the Songstress fight in Nier Automata. You know how Songstress in Nier Automata has that one attack where she starts to spin like a ballerina and she spawns those, like, red orbs that you have to dodge in the bullet hell? The camera straight up it detaches from the player and it just goes up on the sky and it gives you a 2D camera of the battlefield when you're dodging those balls. That is kind of what I mean. Like, the kinds of moments, enemy attacks, the enemy hordes, the kinds of action that you can have on the screen changes, and what is allowed to be on the screen, what the action is allowed to be, is different if your camera angles are also different. So what I'm essentially saying is that because they are encouraging these different camera angles in this game, there's going to be more variety into this gameplay flow in this game than, you know, what normally is available in action games. It's an indicative of that. So this is also something that we saw in the trailer. We saw one of these weird realms that she hopped into or got herself into. So this is not exactly anything new concept-wise. This is a quick time event. Like, what if you get hit by one of those rolling magma things on the ground? Scarlet Waters. Yeah, this is... Dude, this is so Solstice-like. Oh my goodness.
Let's go.
Scarlet Waters. What the fuck was the thing called in Solstice then? Why is there a hair on that fucking lamp? What was it called in Solstice then? I mean, the Solstice of Souls, of course, but like the Solstice of Souls in Solstice was making the areas in the Ilden docks as well as the Ilden like upper like you know, noble and the more common like common people's areas also in Solstice like more unstable as you went throughout the game. That's giving me the same vibes even though just the premise itself. Also, Britannia Museum. We are somewhere very far in the future based off that name. Like Britannia, to my understanding, it's like an honorary title that you would give an area. It's like, you know, somebody goes very far like in the future and like reminiscence almost of like a certain era or a region, how it was like grand, you know, like Britannia, or like, you know, like Britannia is almost like a massive like imperium or imperial like superpower, you know, that control like a massive area, you know, kind of like, you know, Great Britain like used to control if we go back to like our real history. But instead of delving into that, you get what I mean by it. You know, we have to be somewhere very far in the future where, you know, Great Britain in this game's story was some kind of like really massive superpower, you know?
Oh no, not again. No!
Now we're about to get into another thing that we saw in the trailer, but very weird one. Mordred is a female character in this game for some reason. Yeah. If I just... Dude, who was Mordred in the sword in the stone, like in some of the folk tales of like Britain's history.
Look, a path.
Who was Mordred? Like Mordred, to my understanding,
Not
was
enough
like
yet. Let's
he or they, I guess in this case, were like some kind of like Merlin's like opposition maybe
find more.
or something.
Up here. Just knock down the pillar. Don't forget, knights don't fear the scarlet.
Press R to the summon support knight. The knight is unaffected by the red tide. Don't forget, knights don't fear the scarlet waters. Right. You know this line is gonna go over most people's heads. But you know what's interesting about this line? Knights don't fear the scarlet waters. Imagine the person who is saying this to Gwendolyn. Like, if these two were just, you know, beneficial partners with each other, where they were kind of like comrades or something, I doubt the other person would be encouraging our main character this way. I think because of this line, and the line earlier with the baby carriage or whatever, like they have to have a closer, like even blood relation to each other, which is another indicative thing that made me think of Briar and Lute as well in this gameplay trailer.
Nice. Now we can get to cross.
Oh yeah, and she definitely can summon enemies with her attacks, or just creatures, I guess. Obviously, we'll just see how that works.
Danger.
Also, jumping
Seems
seems
like
very
that's
snappy
where
in
we're
this game.
headed.
It's the exact same as in
Once we
Solstice.
go in, there's no turning back. We need to be prepared.
And that's the game literally just telling you there's a boss fight, I guess, because why not? Yeah, they're gonna show in a moment that Ninyane is actually Gwendolyn's sword, but they did not reveal that until
warned you,
this cinematic here.
Gwendolyn. Did you come here just to
Mordred.
get upset with me?
Maybe...
Mordred.
I have an idea.
That's up to you.
Yeah,
Just here to
maybe...
read, are you?
Maybe Mordred is simply taking a form
I
of this
have more pressing
female here.
matters.
Or maybe Mordred
You
is just
should have
a
stayed
girl in this game. It says story. Why not? I guess.
out of my way.
Some kind of gender bending here.
Before, I've no interest in your throne.
So, you're after the knight for something else?
Arthur?
That's right. You mind your business, and I'll
Or,
mind mine.
I don't know.
Trust her. She's a psycho. Silence. Idiot.
See this right here. We did not see that she became her sword at any single point before.
A cheap trick!
Even in the gameplay before, we don't see that. Does she... Wait. Does she have that... Yeah, she does, she does. I was gonna say.
You're weaker than before.
Than before?
Swinging your sword like that, does that count as fighting? What's this?
I wonder what that yellow
Casting
bar
on
underneath her
your
health bar
own, So
is.
you call for backup.
Also, something I would say rather unusual that you don't see in games too often nowadays. Look how the boss health bar is shown. It's not in the middle of the tops part of the screen. It's not in the middle of the bottom part of the screen. It's on direct opposition between the protagonist's health bar and the boss health bar. I thought that was something that you don't really see in games, huh?
This is all you've got.
Like, that is very unusual.
Half-baked trick.
Yeah, some of her moves remind me of how fighting Kieta or Eliane feels like in Lords of the Fallen as well. But mostly this is very dominant of, you know, Solstice. Like, I'm not sure if this took any necessary inspiration from Solstice, but maybe it's a coincidence. Solstice is small enough like indie game where, you know, most bigger companies probably did not Well, actually, to my understanding, this is a debut game of a new company, or of a new studio, a new game studio. Possibly, from what I have checked online, if I remember right. So this actually is another debut of, you know, kind of the same thing as Solstice devs as well.
You're nothing.
So maybe they did look for inspiration on, you know, the indie game front for this. Because that explains the Solstice inspiration here. Possibly. But then again, Solstice was released when? 2022? And this game is revealing just now? Like, that's... I mean, yeah, they did have enough time to, like, take inspiration from the full game, I guess, yeah. Just by looking at what it had in it, you know, any of the good ideas. Yeah, she teleports in the spice a lot, it seems. Like, those are all attacks where you kind of have to know what they are. Although, notice something in this fight. What they show here. Every single attack that she does in this 3-hitter combo can be dodged at the same exact cadence, I think. From what I'm looking at this feels like it's same cadence. And that's not exactly a cool sign. But then again, it's just one combo. Like, that is not same cadence. No.
What a beautiful sight. A perfect picture of failure.
And then you get some ceremony in the middle of the fight. There's some gold bar building on the health bar of Gundolin. I don't know what that is. Now it broke. Wait, is that like... Hold up. The bar broke when she took damage. Is that a shield? Wait. No, she still took damage. It's either a shield, or she's building some kind of perfectionist bar or something. Maybe she can, like, you know, do more damage, or just unlock a special mode or something when she builds it up, or whatever. Who knows? Also, that blue bar, I think that might be... Oh, she just used it there. Maybe her special attacks? I think that might be her summoning ability. Uses that blue mana bar. Also, this attack has me still scared. Look at the frame rate in this attack. This attack does not fucking run. Like, that is 30 FPS. Like, that is... They need to work on that. I'm honestly surprised that they wanted to even show that. Like, genuinely. I feel like the frame rate on this attack is so bad right there, that even showing that, I would be worried as a developer. I would be, say, discouraged or almost ashamed to show that, just because of that single attack. Otherwise, the presentation is really nice though. But they need to work the frame rate on that attack. It should not destroy the frame rate that hard. They need to somehow optimize that more. Which is gonna be tough, but, you know. Optimization, just like editing, just like filmmaking, you know, it's all a massive illusion. It's a magic trick. You're just, you know, it's like what you are serving is an illusion of something looking in a certain way, but you just make it look that way. But you just shave as many things out of it as possible while still trying to keep the same presentation. So that it's, you know, it's kind of like patchwork almost. Like, I know from my own experience. Like, you can have a lot more expensive, a lot more slower ways to, like, do certain things when it comes to, like, you know, technical flair. But usually those methods, either A, they take too long, or B, they are so expensive on the equipment that you are using that it's not a good idea to do it that way. So it's always usually better to find a more, like, elusive way of showing something, you know? I'm sure I didn't explain that the best way, but you get what I mean, you know?
I may be a mere bug, but who the hell do you think you are?
Watch your mouth.
Also, I said that I remembered her voice actor from somewhere. Like, I recognized her voice actor immediately from somewhere, and it was not where pretty much anybody else recognized her from. Can you guess what it was? Latenna from Elden Ring. She's one of the female Albinorics, one of the only ones who you actually have dialogue with. She's the one that, holds one of the other Dectus medallion halves, earlier in the story. Like, she is the character who she reminds me of here. Because of the voice. And I could not fucking put my thumb on who the voice actor was, but I had to check it online and then it was that. Yeah. Yeah.
Face it, you're just a discarded pawn in this game.
Damn you! I'm Pendragon. No one can cast me aside, ever!
Pendragon is a bloodline. In case anybody's wondering. It's from King Arthur's, or it's the King Arthur's, like, folk tales. There's, I think Arthur's bloodline is the Pendragon bloodline, not Mordred's. I think Mordred is actually just, I think, well, she in this case, well, if we take into the judgment the fact that, she's not actually real, like, Pendragon from her bloodline, then she's just a tyrant who, threw the previous king. Or queen, I guess, in this case. It's literally just a brain. Solstice also has those. The visual presentation, by the way, on this game is fucking ass tier. It's really fucking good. Who is that character riding the dragon? Ah, we see this guy also in the trailer. Broke the sword. Yeah, right here. This has me still worried, but it's maybe because it's on the PS, or should I say PlayStation's YouTube channel. Like if I watch it somewhere else, maybe this PS5 and PS. It is indeed not an exclusive title because it's not, Sony sponsored, so I would not have understood as to why they would gatekeep it on the PlayStation, besides for one single thing. And I do mean one single thing. When you have only one platform that you are making the game for, it's easier to optimize. And you don't have to have as many like graphic settings in the game, so you can like get the technical aspects of the game down easier when you're focusing on only one console. That's like the one single thing that I can think of. But every single other like factor to take into account, like how much you can sell the game, or how many people get their hands on your game, like in all of the other aspects like that, it's a bad idea. So like, yeah, I would not have understood it, and yeah, it's what it is. But we do have it here, and it's coming, see this? Debut game, possibly, from what I remember. Yeah, it's a debut game of a new studio. And they are also publishing their own game. They are not only making their own game, but they're also publishing their own game. So that's a really big thing. Is Solstice now? Yeah, Solstice was not published by themselves. Yeah, Reply Game Studios, and it was published by Maximum Entertainment. Yeah, but these two have very similar, like, feeling in their gameplay. Like, super damn similar. But what I'm seeing in... Well, what I can kind of, like... guess from just looking at what we just saw there, is that there might be more substance for us to enjoy in this game, or maybe roughly the same amount as in Solstice or like Stellar Blade, maybe. Possibly. And also, oh, actually there is one other thing that I do want to show that I kind of like forgot to mention while we were watching this. Let's go before the boss fight with Mordred.
Once we...
When she was resting on that one resting spot. this thing. Go to the Dominion. What is this? This is like either the main hub of the game, or, well, I mean, what else would it be? Go to the Dominion. Is that like maybe teleportation system? You just go here, it's a teleportation hub to like different places in the game, or is this like the main hub area of the game where you just, you know, get stronger and whatever, meet NPCs, get substance, whatever? Like, what is it? We're only gonna get to see it when the full game comes out, I think. Oh, has it already been 4 hours? I was thinking because I was already feeling hungry, so like... I guess we don't do Horizon Forbidden West now. Yeah. I would not be able to do that for a long enough amount of time, I think. Actually worth visiting. I mean, there's a chance after I'm eaten I might go back to that, but... more than likely I'm just gonna play it tomorrow then instead. Yeah. But yeah, that's about that. I'm gonna stop now. See you tomorrow then.